Hello people of BookTube, Megan here, and time for another 7 on Sunday video. This week's prompt is 7 underrated books. Just want to put a little disclaimer. I know the books I'm going to talk about have some fans, they have their own fan bases. I picked these books because I don't see a lot of them coming up on my subscription feed. I basically chose my books based on things I have to actively search for, and I'm also limiting myself to like middle grade and young adult books because most of the people I'm subscribed to talk mostly about those age ranges versus more adult books, so I don't really have a good way to figure out if something is underhyped and whatnot for adult books. I don't know, I just wanted to get that out there. And also there's gonna be a lot of series in this list because I don't read a whole lot of standalones. Anyway, let's get to the list. The first 2 books on this list are by the same author, and that's why I'm showing them off together. And these books are Tithe, which is part of the Modern Fairy Tale series, and The Coldest Girl in Cool Down by Holly Black. I know Holly is a very well-known author in the young adult community, but I feel like this series and the standalone aren't really talked about as much compared to The Darkest Part of the Forest and the Folk of the Air trilogy. Like, I feel these 2 didn't get quite as much hype on BookTube compared to those 2, which is a shame because they are both pretty awesome books. Like I believe I mentioned in a few past videos, the Modern Fairy Tale series is kind of what introduced me to the darker aspects of Fae lore. Like, before I jumped into this series, I was under the impression that fairies were like Tinkerbell and like pixies and like happy and goodness. And this introduced me to the darker aspect of the lore, and I just fell in love with that aspect. And The Coldest Girl in Coal Town, I freaking loved. It's about vampires. It was a very interesting take on vampire lore and just how Holly set this all up. It was creative, it was dark, and just, it was fantastic. And it is a shame that I don't see as many people talking about it, especially now. That's been out for quite a few years now. Books 3 and 4 on this list are also by the same author, and they are 2 different series. And they are the Iron Fae series and the, I can't remember if it's the Immortal Rolls or the Blood of Eden series, but they are both by Julie Kagawa. And these series are just fantastic. And I'm also noticing a little theme with these first 4 books. They are Fae and vampire related. Like, I really have not seen or stumbled across that many people on BookTube who talk about these 2 series. I know they're out there. I know they're out there, but I just haven't randomly stumbled across them. I don't see them as often as other books, and they are really cool. I love Julie Kagawa's take on Fae. I love her vision of vampires in this book, and it's also a dystopian and set in the future, and just, it was a really well done series, and I really need to reread and re-review it soon because it is very near and dear to my heart, much like the Iron Fae, and just, I wish these books got more hype than they get. Book number 5 on this list is also a series. It is the Pendragon Adventure series by DJ McHale. This, I want to say, is a little more middle grade than young adults, though it does get darker later in the series. Or maybe not darker, that might not be the right description, but it is a little more intense. I don't know, but this series is very near and dear to my heart. When I was going through chemotherapy back when I was 15, I was in some sort of, I can't remember if I was in surgery or if I was going through a very long scan, like a PET scan, PT scan, whatever, meaning I would be in that scanning tube for like an hour. So while I was getting my long ass scan done, my mom wandered across the street to the bookstore there, was, you know, scanning the aisles, looking for something for both of us, for herself and myself. She stumbled across this and thought, you know, Megan might like this. This seems like it's something right up her alley. And she also, when like reading about the author bit, discovered that DJ McHale worked on Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was one of my favorite shows as a kid. So that kind of sealed the deal. Yeah, I need to get this for Megan. And 15-year-old Megan fell in love with this book, this series, and it's still very precious to me. So I might be a little biased in saying that it's underrated, but this series is great. I do wish I saw more people talking about it. And since it's been a hot minute since I got my reviews for these books up, we follow 14-year-old Bobby Pendragon, normal kid, but on his way to a big basketball game, his uncle comes and asks him for help. And his uncle reveals that both of them are what are known as travelers. They are supposed to keep balance among the various territories / dimensions of the universe, which is not that easy considering there is an evil traveler known as Saint Dane who wants to throw off the balance for everything. So these books are about Bobby and the other travelers trying to keep things balanced, trying and stop Saint Dane from doing his thing, and it's just really interesting. All the territories are so creative and different and varied, and the characters are awesome, and just the story is great. So yeah, I definitely think that this is underhyped. The next addition to this list is also a series, and I do not have my copy of the first book with me because it is hiding, and it is The Ranger's Apprentice series by John Flanagan. This was also a book that my mom found for me when I was going through treatment. It was actually the very same day that she got me the Pendragon book. This series is also near and dear to my heart. It is a middle grade-ish fantasy, and it's great. I absolutely adore the characters. The writing style is great. It's an easy series to follow, and it's really underrated in my opinion. I also literally have reviews for all of them. I'll probably put them up in cards as I am introducing them. Maybe, I don't know. Or if I don't have them in cards, I might have them down in the description if anyone is interested. I definitely also plan to get re-reviews up for the ones that I do not have re-reviews up for already. The 7th and final book on this list is The Penryn and the End of Days series by Susan E. These books were all over BookTube when they first started. Like, the hype around the first one I feel was very real. I feel the hype for this series kind of dwindled as the books came out. Like, I remember seeing reviews for Angel almost all over the place. For the second one, I didn't see that many. Still a decent amount, but not many. And then for the third one, I feel like not that many people talked about the last one at all. And now I never see anyone talking about these books, which is a shame because it's been a while since I've read it, but I remember absolutely loving it. And it's a shame that people aren't really talking about it anymore. So yeah, I definitely think that this is an underhyped book, especially now. So yeah, that is my list of 7 underhyped books. Though technically it's one underhyped book and 6 underhyped series, but details. And I don't really know how to end this, so yeah. That is my 7 on Sunday video for this week, and I hope to see you guys next time.